Basically, the problem which I am going to talk about is it's a standing problem for from ASIS, and basically it's on the numerical diffusion for entropy stable shock capturing schemes for Apache conservation laws. So basically, this numerical diffusion plays a very important role when it comes for the numerics of flow problem contain discontinuity or shock. So in this talk, as you told that uh, I can go a little bit slow in the numerical PDs part. So um, I will just give you the introduction of the equation, and then I will I will talk about what we know about the solution, associated solution of those PDs, and then we will see how the modern schemes are designed using those properties. Then I'll come to entropy schemes, and then I will state the problem. What is the problem which we need to address when we come to design a entropy stable scheme. And in this talk, previously I decided to give the answer by three ways, like using nonlinear stability and deep learning. But because of the limitation of time, I am skipping the deep learning aspect. And since Volker told me that people are here who are expert in optimization, so it is sort of a test also for me to tell about something, some numerical results which I got using the technique from optimization uh, in designing the entropy stable schemes. So basically, the problem which we are looking for is computing the physically relevant solution, the solution which you can really assume to have physically for the problem equation number 1.1, where 1.1 is the initial condition, and the equation 1.1a represent conservation law, where u is the conserved variable and f is the associated flux function. And we all know this kind of, maybe I know this kind of problem actually rise in many physical scenario. For example, problems in gas dynamics or astronomy or hydrodynamics. And the thing which we know is that the solution of this equation admit discontinuity in solution. Even if you take very smooth initial condition, then after a finite time, you will see that the discontinuities are getting evolved in the physical solution. So once there is a discontinuity in the solution, so we cannot talk about the strong solution. So basically, strong solution is the solution which satisfies the differential form of the equation. But since there is a discontinuity, we do not have any differentiability in the solution. So we need to say that okay, if solution will be a solution of that problem. The problem solution of 1.2 will be a solution of problem 1.1 if you use smooth, and it satisfies this equality given by equation number 1.2. And here phi is a smooth test function. So this is the standard definition, like what is the a weak solution for the stated conservation laws. But the moment weak solution comes into the picture, what happens? We have non-uniqueness issue, which Volker also spoke about. So because of the non-uniqueness issue, you will see that the problem will start admitting a different type of solution. Some of them will be physically correct, means physically acceptable, and some of them will not be physically acceptable. So, for example, if you look at this Berger equation, in viscous Berger equation, and if we start with the initial condition, which is nothing but the forward step function, then you can say that okay, this red color solution as well as this blue color solution uh, both are the solution of this problem. However, we know that this red color one is not a good solution, physically correct solution. However, the green one, which is represented as blue expression, is the good solution. Why? Because not only these both the solution will satisfy the initial condition here at t equal to 0, but also it will satisfy the weak formulation. So once there is a discontinuity, you have non-uniqueness, and that makes life a little bit miserable. And Also, if we go for the numerical computation of such kind of equation like conservation law, so it is now classical that we need to go for a conservative scheme. So even with the numerical approximation, it is difficult to capture the discontinuity. So if we discretize the spatial domain into the interval, then equation 1.5 is called a semi-conservative approximation of the conservation laws, where here ui bold letter represents vector. So vectorized quantity ui is the point value of vector u at grid value xi at a given time t, and fi hat is a consistent numerical flux function. That means it satisfies this kind of consistency condition. And so we have this 1.5, which is semi-discrete conservative scheme, and you can actually look for some time stepping method. For example, if you go for classical Euler method or a forward in time method, you will get a conservative, fully discrete conservative scheme, which is given here in equation number 1.6. So now we can, so I can talk about that. What is the problem when we go for the numerical approximation of the discontinuity? So we have a conservative scheme, and if I go for this simplest problem, ut plus ux, which is linear transport equation. Nothing looks very difficult in this because we know the closed form solution also for this problem. And here I am taking a step function. Then if I go for a low order accuracy scheme, then you will see that the approximation of this discontinuity is like this. So if you do not know that this solution is actually approximating a discontinuity, you will think that the solution is very smooth in this region. And if you go for a higher order accuracy scheme, then you will see that the higher order accuracy scheme will start giving oscillations. So this is a classical problem, whether you are going for the entropy stable scheme, or in fact, this is sort of Gibbs phenomena, which is arising here and there in the layered solution also. So the problem is that if you go for low order scheme, which is diffusive, and if you go for high order scheme, then you will get an oscillatory solution. So there are two problems. First, non-uniqueness. Second, you have a difficulty in approximating the discontinuity. So the evergreen challenge last 40 years, maybe more than that, is to devise a numerical method which yield physically correct weak solution, and also it gives high order and non-oscillatory solution. And these are the so we want to devise a scheme like this, and we know the physical properties of the physically acceptable solution, which is also known as vanishing viscosity solution. What it says that the solution of the conservation law will always be bounded at a later time t, and it will be bounded by the maxima and minima of the initial data. So like you have this maximum principle, so which so tells that okay, you cannot have a maxima or minima which goes beyond capital M or smaller than small m. So based, so this is the maximum principle. And if you look at the schemes, there are schemes which follows like this. If you look at this pure transport equation, which is again linear equation, and its solution is uxt, u0x minus at. So this solution actually shows that uxt is always bounded by the initial solution, or it is in terms of the initial solution. And if you look at the scheme, then you have this first order upfield scheme, so which is actually MP satisfying. Why? Because if you look at this solution, ut which is the exact solution, and if you take this CFL condition equal to 1, then you will get exactly the same expression. So basically this equation for a CFL condition, CFL number equal to 1 actually mimics the exact solution of the underlying problem, which is practically not very viable CFL number. So one thing is that the physical solution will satisfy the maximum principle. We know about that. And then the second property, which is called entropy criteria. What it says is that a smooth solution of the conservation law, which is here ut plus f of ux, will satisfy additional conservation law, which is given by equation number 2.4, which you can actually obtain by multiplying this equation 1.1 by the Fletcher derivative of variable eta, and eta and q are uh, smooth function, and the main property of eta is that eta is convex. So because of the convexity of the eta, you can differentiate it. You can talk about the derivative of eta also, and this q satisfies this relation. So what it says that smooth solution of this problem will also satisfy another conservation law, which is given by 2.4. And here the function eta, q, and v transpose or v are called entropy function, entropy flux function, and entropy variable. And if you have a discontinuous solution, then you need to have an inequality here. Same equation, but with inequality. And all these information is there in the paper, or basically a kind of sort of notes by Dan Tadmore, which consolidate a lot of information about interpret stable schemes. So we know that the exact solution of physically correct solution satisfies maximum principle as well as entropy solution, entropy condition. And if you look at the numerical schemes which are there, existing numerical schemes in the area of in the area of hyperbolic conservation laws, then we can actually broadly classify them either maximum principle based scheme or entropy inequality based scheme. So if we look at the maximum principle based scheme, there are schemes which actually strictly follow maximum principle, like monotone schemes and TBD schemes. Then there are some schemes which are very, very much popular, very much successful, like essentially non-oscillatory schemes and weighted essentially non-oscillatory schemes, but they do not strictly follow maximum principle, though they show that the solution is not having oscillations. And the second type of class of scheme is entropy-based schemes. So which are like, again, you have monotone schemes or E schemes, but they are classical first order equity schemes, so they have very excess of amount of numerical diffusion. And recently, there are higher order schemes which are given by Tadmore and Siddharth Mishra, and they are called Techno. So there are many other schemes, but I am basically the center of this talk is going to be around the work of Tadmore and the way he has given the idea how to construct entropy stable schemes. So, like maximum principal stability ensures that there will be no oscillation, but there is no guarantee for the convergence to the physically correct solution. And if you look at the entropy stable scheme, we have the guarantee for the convergence, but oscillations may occur. So, for example, if you look at the Lex-Patrick scheme, which is monotone scheme, that means it is entropy stable also, but you can see local oscillations in the Lex-Patrick scheme. So, what is desirable? A good scheme. So, what is a good scheme? That it should satisfy at the same time the entropy stability and the maximum principal stability, at least in weak sense. So then with this scheme, what you have assurance for the convergence to the physical solution, and also it won't give any spurious induced oscillation. So what are entropy conservative schemes? Because we are going to talk about entropy stable schemes. So first, let us look at what is entropy conservative scheme. So a scheme, a semi-discrete scheme, which we talked earlier, it will be called entropy conservative scheme if the solution computed by that semi-discrete scheme satisfies this discrete entropy inequality given by equation 3.1. Because we were having in the continuous aspect two conservation law, here also we have two discrete conservation laws or conservative schemes. So discrete entropy equality is given by equation 3.1. So if the solution of the scheme satisfies this, then that scheme is will be called entropy conservative. And here Q is numerical entropy conservative flux, which is consistent with the entropy flux function Q. And again, we have consistency condition given in equation number 3.2. So one way to construct this kind of entropy conservative scheme is proposed by Tadmore in his seminal work in 1987. And what it says that if you have a conservative 3-point flux which satisfies, so this F star is a flux, and if it satisfies equation number 3.3, then this F star, the flux, is going to be an entropy conservative flux. And here psi is the entropy potential, which is defined as equation number 3.4. And basically this is the the Redmore's work is the center of the whole talk. Basically, you will see later on also. And here F star is, as I said, that it is entropy conservative scheme, so it will satisfy this entropy, discrete entropy equality, and where the Q hat will be given by this relation. So Tadmore gave this particular theorem, which says that you can construct the second order entropy conservative flux, and then Lafloche and Rode, they also come up with third order entropy conservative flux, and then they came up with a paper on arbitrary high order entropy conservative flux, where actually they used entropy conservative flux of Tadmore, which satisfies the equation 3.3 also. So using the Tadmore's work, they came up with the arbitrary high order entropy conservative flux. So now I come to a particular example in case of Berger equation, what all this means. So if we look at this particular equation, ut plus u square by 2x equal to 0, which is Berger equation. So we can actually choose entropy pair, or you can just choose any convex function which is as eta, which is entropy function, and then you can have entropy flux function u cube by 3, and both of them is called entropy pair, and we can define v, the entropy variable, in terms of eta u, where eta is u square by 2, so you get the derivative is equal to u, and qu is equal to u cube by 3. So they are just simple mathematical calculations, simple high school algebra, and you can actually find out what is v, what is q, what is potential function psi, and then you can simply use in the scalar case this formula. So you know what is v, what is f psi, then you can actually find out f star. In the scalar case, they are the unit solution will exist, and in the Berger case, you have the entropy conservative flux given by this formula. And if you are using this F star, then it will satisfy the discrete entropy equality, and where the entropy flux function will be given by expression, last expression in this slide. So in the Burgess equation case, we understand how all these things work. So now we have entropy conservative schemes, not only second order, but we have arbitrary high order entropy stable schemes. But from the numerical computation, we know that these schemes, the entropy conservative schemes, they work very well for the smooth solution. But once there is a discontinuity, they start giving oscillation. And it is basically because insufficient entropy production at shop. So basically, you do not have sufficient diffusion in the scheme, entropy conservative scheme, which can actually suppress this oscillation. So how we can do it? So the idea is that you can reduce this oscillation by designing an entropy stable flux, which is nothing but you have entropy conservative flux and you just subtract a diffusion term or anti-diffusion. You just add an anti-diffusion term, and this term basically work as a diffuser uh, in the flux. So this the criteria of D is that it should be a positive semi-definite or strictly positive definite matrix. Uh, However, only this property that D greater than equal to 0 is not sufficient. We will see later. So once you have a entropy stable flux, which is actually you are obtaining by entropy conservative flux and by some diffusion operator, then you can see that you the numerical flux F hat will satisfy the discrete entropy inequality. And the problem, as I said, that the positiveness of D does not guarantee that there will be no oscillation. So still some small oscillations can happen. And in the recent paper where they have done a lot of fundamental improvement again because of the suitable non-suitable D oscillations may arise in various test cases. So what is the idea? So you want to reduce the oscillations, you add more diffusion, like you take a large D, large in some sense. But what happens when you take large diffusion, again, you will go back to the same picture which I shown you earlier. So you will get this kind of approximation, which is very, very diffusive. And if you take small diffusion here, D which is not sufficient diffusion, then it will give you oscillation. So ultimately, what happens? We know how to construct high order entropy stable scheme, entropy conservative schemes, but we do not know what is a diffusion which can actually optimize both the things. Not only it captures the shock without oscillation, but also it gives high resolution. So what is a suitable diffusion? This is the question. This is the problem which we are going to address in our next part of talk. So how I define suitable diffusion is that it should be large enough so that the scheme is oscillation free and minimum enough to resolve the discontinuity as crisply as possible. And we answer this in two different ways. First way is we use classical nonlinear stability theory associated with the hyperbolic conservation laws. And then I will look into the least square optimization problem and how we can use technique from optimization to find out a suitable D. So if we look at the nonlinear stability theory of hyperbolic conservation laws, we have one of the most popular stability is called total variation diminishing TVD stability, which is due to Harten. And what it says that if you are having a semi-conservative scheme given by question number 4.1, then this scheme is said to be total variation diminishing if the total variation change of total variation or basically first derivative of total derivation total variation, sorry, total variation is negative, where total variation is defined by this expression. So basically total variation of any function, discrete function u at time t is nothing but sum of all the jumps in u, consecutive jumps in u. And why it is stability? Because it ensures that you will not have any new maxima and minima by the scheme. So if you are using this scheme, which is total variation diminishing, then it will not introduce new maxima minima because it is going negative. And if there is a increase or decrease in minima, total variation will increase. So this is a kind of nonlinear stability which we are going to use in entropy stable schemes. So this is our own contribution. This is with my PhD student. Now he is doing postdoc. He completed his PhD 2 years back, and here we proposed a variant of incremental form of test for TVD scheme of semi-discrete or TVD condition on semi-discrete scheme in entropy variable V. So previously there was a similar result given by Harten and Tadmore, but where they used conserved variable instead of the entropy variable. So we actually extended or generalized that result in the framework of entropy variable. So what it says that if you have a scheme, semi-conservative scheme, which if you can write in the form equation number 4.4, and if the coefficients C1 and C2 both are non-negative, then this scheme is going to be TVD. This is one lemma which I have proved, and proof is also very simple. So what we do first, we apply the mean value theorem on the entropy variable V, and we got this relation in green color. And now we know that eta is convex, so this is also positive. This derivative of V with respect to U is also positive. So what it help us to find out is or to conclude that the sign of this jump and the sign of this jump is going to be same, where sign of any variable x is defined by this. If x is greater than 0, it should be +1, otherwise -1, and if it is 0, sine of x is equal to 0. So with this, what we do, we just use the semi-conservative scheme and we compute this difference, and we get this kind of expression, and then we multiply both sides si plus by the si plus half, and we take sum over all the coefficient, and after some algebra, what we get equation number 4.7. And from here we can see that s is, as we have already decided, f is the sine function, so it can be plus minus 1. So this is positive, this is positive. So similarly, if ci plus half and c1 and c2 both are positive, then we have this whole quantity, because of this negative sign, is negative. So it is a total variation diminishing scheme. So if you can write a scheme in this form, and if the coefficients are positive, your scheme is going to be TVD. So with this, what we did, we reduced the condition on D to construct a entropy stable flux, which is TVD, so that it is not only satisfying the entropy condition, but also it will satisfy the maximum principle in via total variation diminishing. And it says that if your D, the matrix D, or the coefficient D, because we are talking about the scalar case, so the coefficient D will be satisfying this condition. So basically, it ensures that D is positive. And here Q star is numerical viscosity, which one needs to solve, for which one needs to solve this expression, which is sometimes cumbersome, but for some trivial cases it is easy. And your Vi plus half is sort of a wave in terms of entropy variable. So basically, here this theorem basically gives a condition on D that when the entropy stable flux will be TVD. So I will skip the proof here. Much time is left? Okay. So proof is also, because in the proof we are using the lemma. I am skipping the proof, and but once we have the condition on diffusion operator D, we can actually have different choices. So all these choice of D will satisfy the condition given in the theorem, and we can see that this D1 is more diffusive compared to D3. So what we did, we gave one lemma so far, and we also gave a, condition on the numerical diffusion operator of entropy stable scheme, so that the entropy stable flux is TVD, or the scheme is TVD. And then we went for the high resolution entropy stable TVD fluxes, and for that we are using a flux limiter phi, and this phi is nothing but it is a function of theta. Theta is again a function of smoothness. Theta is called smoothness parameter, and it is actually a function of consecutive ratio, which I will define in the next slide. What we need to observe, that we need to define phi and beta in such a way that this whole expression should be positive. Then only we can say, okay, this is entropy conservative flux minus a positive D. So here theta we are defining as a consecutive ratio, a function of consecutive differences. And so if you have a positive wave speed, then you define as Vi minus 1, Vi plus positive, it is will be Vi minus 1, otherwise it will be Vi plus 1 minus Vi. So basically this way we define the smoothness parameter theta, and then we, using the lemma, we derive the condition on beta and phi, so that the high resolution version of this flux or TVD flux is also a high resolution version of entropy stable flux is also TVD. So this is the condition. So beta should be satisfying this condition, and the flux limiter phi should be between 0 to 1. And based on this, we can say, okay, our high resolution flux is also TVD. And then in order to extend the system, we did some matrix algebra, and I can escape it. Uh, yeah, I'll skip it here. I will come to numerical results directly because yeah. So we have actually applied the developed schemes, TVD schemes on a different test problem, and we are using second order TVD Runge-Kutta method, which is given by this expression in green, and the left hand side operator is given by the difference of the entropy stable flux. So if we use this setting, and if we look at the solution of the Berger equation, so as I told that eta should be a convex function. So either you can choose minus log u, or you can choose u square by 2, or any other convex function. And what we show that if you, irrespective of choice of this convex function, the scheme, the diffusion operator, which is like D1, D2, D3, which we proposed, there is no oscillation. So you can see, though it's not very much visible, but this is one entropy conservative of diffusion operator given by Ismail, Farjad, and Roy. It gives little bit oscillation. So what we show that irrespective of the choice of eta, since we are including the TVD into the construction of entropy stable scheme, we are not going to get any oscillation, and this is what we have shown. And if we look at the Berger's equation test case, so we have this initial condition for the Berger equation, and we have two different versions. One is just TVD flux, and another one is this is the TVD flux, and the red one is the high resolution flux. So it gives more high, like better resolution for the rarefaction compared to the first order TVD scheme, which is shown here in this zoomed version also. And if we look at the total variation and entropy decay rate of the problem, then we can see that okay, the scheme is giving the entropy decrease, or at least non-increasing TVD. Non-TVD total variation is not increasing, and entropy is decreasing. So it is entropy stable as well as TVD. And then we applied this flux into the Berger's equation case. It is 2D viscous Berger equation, and we can see that the schemes captures the discontinuity very nicely. Here we have given only the high resolution version of the solution. And if we apply the same scheme for 2D shallow water equation, so here we know that the entropy function eta is given by this expression, and from there we can get the entropy variable V like this. And we consider this setting like we have a domain where we have water at height 10 meter, and another side the height of water is 6 meter only. So there is a water height difference is there, and at time t equal to 0, we just say that there is a breach. This dam is breach. There is a breach in the dam, and because of that, flow is started. Because of the height difference, flow will start, and you can see from these results. It's not working. So this is the result at some time later time t. So you can see that the water will start coming, and here we have a shock wave which is propagating in right direction, in the positive x and y direction, and but we don't. If you look at this, contour plots, we can see that the solution is properly capturing the boundary of the flow nicely. So this is the first order PVD, and it is the high resolution version of the entropy stable flux. So this is one of the work which we finished sometime back, and we realized that we cannot go actually for high order accuracy because TVD schemes, because we tried to use the non-linearity condition TVD in the construction, our scheme cannot be arbitrary high order accurate, and also it will degenerate to first order accuracy even at the smooth extrema. This is a well-known result by Tadmore and Mosher. And also, if we want to extend the whole theory, the proof is not non-trivial, and also extension even for the shallow water equation took time because we need to solve one particular integral, which is difficult in case of order equation, which is much more complex system compared to shallow water. And we cannot show stability of high order construction because uh, the monotone stability or TVD stability, it does not go for, uh, there are certain negative results about schemes which are monotone and TVD. So looking into that will actually affect the overall development with the same kind of negativity. So how to look beyond that, because we do not have mathematical non-linear stability tools which we can use to construct entropy stable schemes which are like maximum principal satisfying in some one or another way. So here actually I thought of optimization. So if you look at the construction of the diffusion operator D, basically it is an optimization problem. This is what I feel. So what it says, like if you have a set of all positive semi-definite matrix Rm cross Rm, then the problem of constructing non-oscillatory entropy stable flux F hat, which is actually we are using this form. So this can be posed like this. So we are having slightly different version, or not exactly least square. What we say that we have a vector V. We want to find out what is the matrix D which can satisfy this equality, where Fs denotes any non-oscillatory numerical flux. So what actually we are saying that the entropy stable flux should behave non-oscillatory way in the similar way as this non-oscillatory flux Fs behaves. So this can be written in this form, optimization problem. So what it says that find out like R when D belongs to omega, and where JD is defined by this cost function. And since it is a convex cost function, you have a unique minimizer. And so what we are looking for, we are not looking for the vector V, we are looking for the matrix D. So if we denote the differentiation of matrix by equation number 4.32, then lucidly we can write the first derivative of J with respect to D as equation number 4.33. Now we need to note that this expression is never identically equal to 0 until V is 0. If V is 0, then only it will be identically 0 because we are differentiating with respect to D, and in this expression we have a combination of column entries and the row entries and the column entries. Row entries of the D and column entries of V. So basically it cannot be identically 0. So this leads to, like if you use the first order optimality condition, which is like putting derivative of G equal to 0, then it will implies that you are getting equation for 4.34. Now you can simply solve this problem for the scalar case. Like if it is scalar problem, you can simply find the ratio and then you are good to go with the D. However, certain things are still there, which we will see. But solving for the system is not that trivial. So we have vector V known to us, we have right hand side known to us, we want this matrix D. And but the good news is that we do not need to find out D exactly. So far I was saying that we need to find out what is D. But now I'm saying that we don't need to find D. What we need the diffusion term. 1 by 2 di plus half, di plus half. So you just replace in the entropy stable flux here, this green term. So we have this green expression. So we do not have to find out D. We simply replace this expression as a combination of as a combination of entropy conservative flux and a stationary stable flux. However, we need to ensure that D is positive. That is required. So in order to impose the positivity of D, we can simply put like sign of jump in V is equal to sign of the difference of the entropy conservative entropy conservative flux and non-oscillatory stable flux. And where in the vector case we define the sign property similar as a scalar case, but component wise. And with that, we can simply say that, okay, we will replace this whole term in the entropy stable flux by this expression. If sign agrees, you simply use this expression. Otherwise, you simply put equal to 0. And I said one thing like this V, if jump is equal to 0, then it is trivial case. Why? Because if you look at this expression of entropy conservative flux, sorry, so if V is equal to 0, we do not need anything. Any D will work because it's not going to play any role. So any D will work. So it's trivial case. So we are not interested in D in that case. If V is 0, just simply go for entropy conservative flux. If V is not equal to 0, then you put this condition. And but here we have to deal with the entropy variable sign of entropy variable. But as I shown you earlier, the sign of entropy variable is nothing but the sign of jump in the entropy. Oh, sorry, sign of jump in the entropy variable is nothing but the sign in the jump in the conserved variable. So we can simply write our non-oscillatory entropy stable flux by equation 4.39. So what it says that if sign matches, you use non-oscillatory scheme, flux of the non-oscillatory scheme. Otherwise, you use entropy conservative flux. And this makes things very trivial. And we have done some numerical tests also in order to validate this theory. So in order to do that, what we need, so this framework need is entropy conservative flux. So we are using two different entropy conservative flux given by Tadwood. So this one is the 4th order entropy conservative flux, and this is the 6th order entropy conservative flux. And you can use any non-oscillatory flux Fs, but for this presentation, I am showing the result by 5th order Vanno scheme and also 3rd order Vanno scheme, I think, which is very well known. And for the time integration, we are again using TVD Gupta method, which is 3rd order time method. And once we use this for, so this if we use this flux and apply for the numerical computation, and we see the rate of convergence, we can see that for the simple problem ut plus ux equal to 0, where the initial condition is smooth, we are able to achieve the consistent 5th order convergence. This is not possible in the previous setting, what I told. Until optimization came, this is not possible. The whatever I proposed, it is not possible to achieve this kind of accuracy with the. And also, if we take another initial condition, which is challenging, again we get 5th order accuracy, except in these 2 points. Maybe there is some numerical computation problem or maybe something, so that I need to check. But still, we are getting it. And if I look into the solution of this kind of discontinuity in the linear case, so you can see that there is no oscillation. It is the solution by the entropy stable scheme. And this is the solution by entropy conservative 6th order flux along with Vanno flux. Here we are using entropy conservative 4th order flux and Vanno 3rd order flux. And then here we have 1st order flux. So you can see that the peak of this problem is getting better and better as we go for higher order accuracy. So that's why we want higher order accuracy, but at the same time without any oscillation. So what I say is that this entropy stable flux will mimic the non-oscillatory property of the non-oscillatory flux, which is used in the construction. And if so, we have extended this whole thing because everything is in vector form. So if you add the Euler equation, and we have taken different standard test problem, and these are the result by entropy stable scheme, like sixth order entropy is a stable scheme using Van of fifth order Van flux. And next tube test problem is also there, where we have a strong jump here. And you can see there are some small oscillation, but it is due to the oscillation present in the Van flux. So as I said, that the non-oscillatory property of this entropy stable scheme will be basically governed by the non-oscillatory property of the non-oscillatory flux. Then we have taken another test problem where we have a strong jump and then a smooth solution, and then zigzag waves. And again, the solution is captured without any spurious oscillation. And then we have taken two-dimensional Euler equation, and we are using actually 2D Raman problem given by Trudno and Tadpur in their paper. It has been like this problem are discussed in many papers. They are now classical. So if you look at this, the solution with 400 across 400 grid point, and so you can see that we are able to capture very nicely. But this is not very difficult problem as far as the other scheme is concerned. The difficult problem is this one. So this problem basically any scheme which is slightly oscillatory uh, will not be able to give the solution. Uh, and if you look at the entropy stable in the literature of the numerical schemes for entropy or numerical or entropy stable schemes, high order entropy stable schemes, people don't give this result. So that's it. So we have actually addressed the problem of finding the diffusion in the entropy stable flux two ways. One is nonlinear base, nonlinear stability, TVD stability. Another one is using the optimization. And optimization worked very nicely. So with this, I think I am done. Thank you.